go over actually the Java beans and expression language that we need for week 4 slides. Remember, this is going to be like a complementary for what we are going to do in the theory lecture. Like the main thing is the theory lecture, but I just want to support like some of these objectives here in code. Mainly, I'm going to talk about Java beans, okay, like how to create a Java bean, how to access property from Java beans. I'm not going to talk about attribute scope because this is going to be like mainly for the theory lecture. And I will show you an example of a JSTL, and that would be all. Okay. Still, like I recommend that you watch the theory lecture and this practical, which is going to be very easy and simple. Now, let's see to create a project. I'm going to create a new project. I'm going to call it this web application. Let's go with week 4, like for the lecture. Click next. And everything is fine here. Click next. Finish. Remember always that when you want to work on your code to create a repo, that to keep track of your code, that means I can go to here and then say that I want to create a repo, which means that I forget where should I click. Okay, that's funny. I need to find it. Is it here? Okay, new repo. Sometimes it's like has a green button. It doesn't matter. Like let's create a week 4. Okay. And it's gonna be public. You can read it and you can access that by yourself. Create a repo, and here we go. I just need this link. Just click on it. And after that, remember that I click on week 4, go to team. First, I initialize a repo here. After that, after I init, like get init for week 4, what I do commits first. Let's do commits. And let's go commit. I'm going to say this is initial commit and then commit. And say yes. I remember now I need to push the code because if I go to the internet, I saw nothing. Let's now go to team. Let's say remote, then push. Then here I want this to go to this location, the URL that I copied from there, and just click next. Click master, next, finish. Now say yes. Now let's go here, refresh the page. And here we go. Now I can keep track of my code and I don't care if I like remove it from my local PC or something. Now let's create like a first.jsp page as our home page. I don't need index.html, but let's make sure that it works. Let's just run this right now. And yeah, let's wait. Okay. Here we go. Now I'm getting this page, but remember this is HTML. I can use it, by the way, but let's go with JSP always. It's like, let's delete it. I don't need it. Now let's go to web information, say new, send JSP. Now this JSP, I'm going to call it first. You can call it whatever name that you want to call. Click finish. This is the hello world. I'm going to hello world like as always from first.jsp. Click save. Now if I click on this green button, it doesn't work. Yeah, we did that many times. Now let's go because we need a servlet. Let's create a servlet. Right click, say servlet. Now this servlet, how to do that here, just say, I'm gonna name this as render servlet. Like, I don't know why I'm always calling this render, but okay, let's go with render servlet. Say next, remember to click this. Yeah, remember to click this. And now I'm gonna call this as home. You can call it whatever you want and then click finish. Now here we go. And let's like, I have a nice code. I don't need to delete anything right now. Now remember that the green button gonna send this to the get, then for here get servlet context, and then get request dispatcher. And this would take us to the path, and the path is gonna be web information. And inside web information, I have first.jsp. And then here I'm gonna say forward, and that's all. And always like just break it down just to read it. Now that's very much everything that would allow me to render the page. However, still that I need to change the web.xml. I go to pages. I told them where they should send the request. They should send the request to get. If you save it here, sometimes you need to go to source and you see like they're asking us to like resave this again. I'm gonna save that. By the way, like I feel that I have done like a very good portion of code right now. Therefore, I'm gonna go to team and I say commit, like just to save. Like I'm gonna say creating render servlet and home page as first.jsp. Any comment that is meaningful, just commit. Remember that this will never be online unless I go to team and then I say remote, then push. I'm not going to push this right now. I'm going to push that later. Now let's just click on the green button and see what will happen. And everything is working fine. Hello world from first.jsp. Okay, now what I will do here before we start talking about Java beans and expression language, I will okay, I will actually create another JSP page. And now before I create that, I'm going to create a button. Let's create here. Yeah, let's create here. Wait, why did I delete that? Okay, now let's create a form. This form actually is going to just contain a button, and that's all. Okay, like I just have a button here. There's going to be input, and there's going to be type equals submit. You can give it a name or a value, but I'm not interested. I just need this. But remember that the form need two things, need a method. And this method is going to be post because I'm going to send this to which URL. Wait, why? Okay, I'm going to send this to home. Okay, remember that if I click on this button, this is going to be action home to post, which means I will be here. Yeah, remember that I will be here. Now from here, I can go to any JSP page that I want. Let's create here in the web information. Let's create a new JSP page. I'm going to call this second. Okay, second. Click finish. Remember that always I prefer to say hello from second.jsp. Now, if I save it, remember that I need to save all files. Now, if I go and run, if I click on the button, nothing happens. Why nothing happens? Because if I go to post, in the post, I have nothing. I should say get. Why do I need to type that if I have it? Yeah, let's be very lazy. And this is going to be second.jsp. And let's save it. And let's rerun that. Hopefully, we don't have the same problem. Click, and here we go. Hello from second.jsp. Everything is working fine and as how we are expecting. Now, I think this is like very good to start talking about Java beans right now. Now, from now on, we need to stop using this thing, which is default packages. This is called controllers. Okay, remember that. Let me just open the notepad. We did talk about something called MVC. And we say that MVC is a model view controller. Now the view, actually, we have them where? We have the views inside the web information, which is the HTML that we have. Now the model, we will discuss the model right now because Java beans will go inside the model and controllers will have the servlets. These are controllers because they control the flow of the connection or like server who is receiving these requests. Okay. Now, for example, this is called default package, which is a very bad name. Let's just click on source package and say new, then package. Now here I'm going to call that as controller. Okay. Controller. And remember that it's empty. I can take render servlet and I can add it to the controller. And here we go. Yeah, refactor, and that's all. Now, let's go to source package and create a Java package. This Java package is going to be model. Here we go. Now inside model, okay, let me just declare, okay, no problem, just close web.xml because I don't need it. Now inside model, I'm going to create my first Java bean. Okay, how to create it? Just go to model, say new, then Java class, and that's all. Now, what do I want to call this? I'm going to call this as a student. Okay. Now, to create a Java bean, I don't need these comments. Okay. To create a Java bean, what you need to do is to follow these steps. Like you need to provide a 0 argument constructor. You need to provide getters and setters for all the private instance variables that you have in the class, and you need to implement serializable. Okay, that means you can go here, say implement, and then serializable. And yep, that's the first step. Now the second step is to create a like a 0 argument constructor. Now 0 argument constructor, just say public, then student, and this is a 0 argument constructor. Now I can have a constructor that has values in it. There's no problem, but remember that I need at least one constructor that has 0 arguments. Now, what are the instance variables that I have? For example, for the student, I'm going to have something like private, string, first name, and what else? I'm going to have private string, last name as well, like 2 data that I'm concerning about the students. Remember, any variable that I have of type private, I need to have what? I need to have getters and setters. Now, how can I get the getters and setters? Right-click, go insert code, and here choose getters and setters, and click on this. Like just click, select all of them, and generate. And here we go. Now, as you can see, I met the 3 conditions. Now, someone might be wondering, can I have a constructor not having, like, remember, this is called 0 constructor. Okay, can I have a constructor right now after I created the 0 constructor? Can I have a constructor that have first name and last name? If you want, yes, you can. You just like right-click, insert code, and say constructor, and click on the variables that you want to include and say generate, and that's all. Okay, that means yes, I can have, but remember that I first need to create this 0 constructor. I need to implement serializable, and I need getters and setters for all of these data that I have here. Now let me click save. Now remember that these models gonna like look like as something similar to the database tables. Like I think in week 8 or week 7, we will talk about database tables. These models should be similar to the database tables. And if you look now, imagine this student like is a table that contains first name and last name for each student that I will have in the database. Now, let's go back to render servlet. Remember that I can send something to second.jsp. Like, how can I send anything right now? Let's just send the number. You can say request, then set attribute. And here I can send data, for example, any data that I want. You can name it whatever you want. I'm going to send here 425. Okay, this number. Now save it. Remember that I can access this if I go to second.jsp here, and I can say, for example, h1. And I say received, like what I'm gonna receive, and then let's have that in a small line, and then say $sign, and inside it, like mention the name of the variable. Remember that here I name this as data, and therefore here I'm gonna name it data. Click save and run everything. Let's see. Now, hello from first.jsp. I'm gonna click on submit, and this takes me here, and here we go. This is the data that I have sent. Now remember that I can send here what? I can send here an object. That means I can send in Java anything. I can send an array, I can send a number, I can send a string. Now remember that I have created a student, okay? And you can imagine that you will have here, like on the first.jsp, a form that has a first name, that has a last name as input, and you are going to read them here, okay? Like let's say here, reading the data from the form. Now I'm going to just go like as a hard-coded example. I don't want to make it very big example right now. Imagine that I'm going to read the data from the form. Like I have first name and last name. Therefore, I can create what? I can create an object of a student. I can say here student. Okay. And then say name it whatever you want. Like let's go student, for example. And here I'm going to say new student. And remember that we can, okay, first of all, you need to import that. Now, how to import it? Just control space, like control, then space, and then enter. Now we have imported the student. Now that means I can create an object of that. And because I have a 0 constructor, as you can see, like they are not saying anything for us. Like we can create an object without passing any data. However, I'm gonna pass data, like because if you can look here, I have another constructor that has first name and last name. I'm going to send the data here. I'm going to say, imagine like you are reading this from the form, like so you are saying request.get parameter.first name or something like that. But I don't want to like keep checking the null and empty and something like that. Now, first name is Bob and last name is ABC. I'm going to save everything. Remember that I want to send the student to the second to JSP. Instead of sending data, I'm going to say student. Okay, this is a name. Now the data will be here. Instead of 54555, I'm going to send the student. Okay, if this is confuse you, like you can name this as, okay, remember, this is the name of the variable in the second to JSP. This is the name of the data that I'm sending here. Now save everything, go to second to JSP and say, instead of data, say yes. I'm gonna make this H3 just to make it bigger and easy to read. Remember that I'm passing student, I'm sorry, not S, I'm passing student. Let's print it and see the data that I'm sending. If I run this, okay, let me just close the older one. So submit, and here we go. I got model, the student, and I got a hash code. Now, this is very bad because I need to see the data. Like I need to see the first name. I need to see the last name. How can I say that? Very easy. Just take that. Let me just copy this because I want to do this here. Like you can say student dot first name, like just name the variable that you're looking for. Last name, this is an object, yeah? And save it, run this, and say submit. We get an error. Let's see what is the error. Oh my God, the error is here. Like I can see it from now. And it's great to have this error right now. Why? Because we need to fix it. Yeah, let's go. It's a first name. And let me make sure that should be fine. Let me close these two pages. I don't need them. Let's run everything and say submit. And we still have an error. What is the second error? It's in line 17. I have a problem with an exception occurring JSP page. Okay, let me just make sure that it's called a student. That's interesting. Oh my God. See, the error is here. Oh wow, very stupid. I should fix it here. Now, hopefully it's gonna work. Oh wait, don't run anyway. Please don't do that. Just make sure. Oh my God, I need to fix everything that I have done here. I'm a very bad programmer. Okay, let me just remove everything that I have except the zero constructor. Let's create the constructor again. Just right click and say insert code and take the constructor. Click on these, select all, and then say generate. I'll get the constructor right now. Now generate getters and setters, insert code, getters and setters, select all, and generate. Here we go. Now, hopefully, if, oh my God, it's a very bad mistake, yeah? Now let's save it. But okay, this is first name, last name, and here we go. Now, hopefully it's gonna work. Submit. Yes, it works. This is Bob, this is ABC. I can't send. See, I'm not sending you a first name and last name anymore. I'm sending you an object. And this object, from that object, you can actually access first name, last name, any properties that's related to student, you can access that. Now, the last thing, if you go to the slides actually related to Java Beans, they are talking about something that is, I did talk about this, which is attributed property. Yeah, the nested properties. Like sometimes you might have a Java bean inside it, there's another Java bean. Like for example, here I say first name. Like imagine this first name is a Java bean. That means I can click say dot and access another properties inside this Java bean. I will show you an example right now. Let's say that I have another Java bean called a laptop. Like, okay, first of all, just pause the video and think, should I use the controller or the model to add a Java bean? Okay, pause and think. I should go here to the model. Hopefully you get that right. And let's go to Java class. And here I'm going to call this laptop. Like I will say each student will have a laptop or something like that. Okay. Doesn't matter right now, but I just want to show you the example. Now inside the laptop, remember that, for example, I just have a very basic class that have the model, like Dell, private string model. Okay. Now here, remember that I need a constructor, which should be an empty constructor. And then I can generate getters and setters and a constructor for that, but still remember, please don't forget that. Oh my God, I forget this here. I should implement serializable. Yeah. And here I can like, and by the way, if you need a shortcut, you just press Alt plus Enter, insert, like Alt insert, you get the constructor, and then say here model, and generate, and then Alt insert, and then here getters and setters, and choose this, which is the only thing that I have, and that's everything that I need. Now remember that I want to say that each student will have a laptop. That means I would go here and create what? I'm going to say private laptop, okay? And this laptop, I'm going to call it laptop, okay? Now this laptop, I'm going to add it to the constructor. I'm going to remove this old constructor. I'm going to create a new one. Just press Alt, then Insert, like at the same time, go constructor, select all, and generate this new constructor. And remember that I need to create a getter and setter for any private instance variable that I have. Just scroll down, put your cursor here, okay? And then Alt, Insert, and say getters and setters, get the data for this laptop, and generate. Here we go. Now, if we go back to this page, you feel, oh my God, see, like they are saying, oh my God, you are doing some very big mistake. What is the mistake that I'm doing? They need me to pass what? They need me to pass the laptop. Yeah, they need me to pass an object of type laptop. Now, can I pass this? Let's say that this student that I'm creating will have a laptop of type, for example, I'm gonna get a new laptop. And this laptop would be, for example, let's say, and by the way, like anytime that you feel that I'm doing some shortcuts, I just press Control Space, okay? Control Space, like auto-complete these things for me. Now here, for example, let's say the brand is Apple, and now I need to pass not the name of the laptop, I need to pass the Java bean, which is L. And now, as you can see, the student is a Java bean. Inside it, I have another Java bean, like a Java bean inside the Java bean. Now, let's see like how in the JSP can I access this Java bean inside the Java bean. Now, to access this, let's go to second.jsp, and this is like here. Okay, now remember that I am having something called laptop. If you want to make sure, just go to student. I have laptop here, which is the same as first name, last name. However, remember that this laptop is what? Is an object of, like it's a Java bean. That means if I just press dot and say model, I can access the model of this laptop. A Java bean, inside of the Java bean, I can access this. Now save everything, row here. Hopefully everything works fine. And here we go. I have an Apple. Now, the last thing that I want to talk about is JSTR. Okay, this is the nested properties. Attribute scope, as I said, I'm going to talk about this in theory, because until now we didn't cover sessions or something like that. I don't want to confuse you with this, but it's very easy and simple. Now let's just see JSTL. First thing is how to add a JSTL, and then how to get this thing. By the way, you can copy that, I think. Yeah, we can, because we need this. Okay, now the first thing that we need is just go to libraries, here, libraries, and click and say add library. Now here, I need you to go to JSTL, just press J, LSTL, okay, this one, JSTL, double click. And if you open the library, you will see that, oh my God, we have got JSTLs. Now, JSTLs gonna be placed inside JSP. And the only thing that I want to talk about today is how to create an if statement using JSTL, and that's all. Okay. And next week we will, or like I'm not sure, like maybe week 5 or week 6, we will go more in depth in JSTL. Now we just need an if statement, how to create an if statement, and how to do import as well. Like these two things. I will show you these two examples. Now, let's create the JSTL. Now, to add the JSTL to your JSP page, you need to take this, okay, as it is. Okay, just save it and go to here. And after this page over here, and now if I save everything, see the magic right now. If I go here, like after this tag, and I say see, did you see that? Now I have an if, I have an import, I have out, I have redirect, I have remove. All of this is because I'm saying that I'm adding this JSTL core library, and the prefix of this is C. When I say a prefix, that means, okay, whenever you see me that I'm saying C, and then I click like control space, please give me these suggestions, okay? Like this is how we actually going to handle the JSTL. Now, what I want to do, as I said, I'm gonna do like an if statement, okay? And let's see like what we are going to do here. For example, C, then F. Now, here you should say something like test. Okay, you're gonna tell them, please test the following code or something like that. And for example, please test or evaluate. We can say that. However, remember that these things should always go inside the string. Okay, like these tests here should go inside the string. And remember that you need to close it and then something like that. Now here you can put your condition. It's something similar to if statement. Like for example, any if statement that you create in your life, for example, if, then like, let's say message, let's say I'm gonna send something called a message. Like if this message equal true, then for example, say, do this here. Okay, or print something or do something. This is what you need to do here. Okay, for example, here I can add an HTML tag. Okay, and I will tell you that, for example, the message is true. Now remember that I need to check, for example, I can say message. Remember that I need to fix, like I need to send this to the JSP page. I could say message equal true. And yeah, that's everything. Like if the message is equal true, you will see this message. Just the message is true. Okay. Now how to send this message? Let's go to render servlet. Before we go there, just say request and then set attribute. Now, what's the name? We say it's going to be message. And what's the value? Let's go with the true right now. Let's see if I will see that. Let's save it and submit. And the message is true. Now, let's change this. Instead of true, make it false. And run this. And let's click submit. And I don't see the message. So here, I see the message. Here, I don't see it. I hope that now you start liking the if statement, which is a great actually thing. Because before we actually, like, at least we were doing the message here, but still the tag will exist. Right now, no, the tag will never exist unless, like, this is called, by the way, conditional rendering. Like, I'm not rendering this unless this condition is met. Okay, again, we will see that, I think, in week 6, more examples. But this is what you need for the week demo and something like that. The last thing, which is, like, I don't want to say optional, but it is good to know. For example, you can use something called import in JSTL, which is this one. Like you can say C import, then you actually gonna specify, like, for example, this page has this part called header. Like starting from the body up to the doc type HTML, you can actually take this and place it in a separate file. And then you can import it. Like it's similar to copy and paste, but this copy and paste gonna be like a hidden copy paste. Like I'm not gonna see this here, but I'm just gonna see a word that say, okay, please this code here. I will show you an example how to do the header right now. For example, here, and you will see like it's very, very useful. Like professional websites always use something like that. Now, let me just take this code. I'm gonna press Control X or yeah, Control X here. Oh wait, I need everything except this. Okay, remember that we don't need to take that. We need this to be here. And like under the body, just add this tag lib because I need this tag lib. This is very important. But right now, anything I see it here, just take it. Okay. And let's go to web. Okay, now let's create a new folder. Go to web pages and say new. Now, if you don't see folder, this is folder. Okay. Now here, say I want includes, for example, and this includes, I'm going to create inside it 2 pages. Remember, it's not inside WebInf, it's outside WebInf. Okay. Now this one would, for example, would have a JSP. I'm going to call this JSP as header. Okay. Now this header, I'm going to remove everything and place the code that I did take from that place and then save it. Okay, now I have the header. I can go to laptop. Oh, I'm sorry. I can go to the second here. And after the tag lib, I can say import. I could say something like this. Oh, wait. This is very bad to copy it from here. Okay. Okay, let me just copy this. And here I would say includes header, but this time I need to say JSP, not HTML. Okay, because I create this as a JSP file, not HTML file. And the last thing that I want to do, you can take these two lines actually and take this as a footer. Okay, we can name this as a footer, like the last two tags here. And I can go to the includes again and then say new JSP. I'm gonna call this as a footer. And then this, remove everything and place these two tags here. Remember that if I need to access those, like I just want to say, by the way, like this is means copy and paste everything inside header, anything inside this file here and in this location directly. And I'm gonna take this again and I'm gonna say, okay, this is gonna be footer. Okay. Now you will see that it's very convenient. And now I actually, if you look at your code right now, it's like less messy because I just want to focus on the body of my page and that's all. Now, if you want to reformat this, just like do this. And now, as you can see, I just focus on the body and that's everything that I need. Anytime that I need this header, I can just say includes header.jsp. Anytime that I need the footer, I just say footer.jsp. This is, remember, Java will actually open footer.jsp. They will do that, like they will copy this and then they will go to here, remove this and say paste. This is what they will do. However, for us, now it's way actually well organized. Let's save it and let's hope that it's gonna work. I'm not sure it's gonna work. Run this, submit, and here we go. Now, I just want to prove that for you that I can, for example, add something in the footer. Like this is the footer, remember? Like I can add something inside the footer here. For example, here I can add h1. I will add an h1 just for test, like for test from the footer.j, and what applies for the footer apply for the header at the same time. Okay. Now, if I say just this and then I say run and say submit, see, for no for test. Oh yeah, for test from the footer.jsp. I just literally copy everything here and place it inside second.jsp. Now, if you want to see like how this is very useful, let's go to site.ca. Let's go. Oh my God, I have opened a lot of pages here. Okay, go to site.ca. And now here, if you see, this is the header, which is the nav bar, for example. They will actually place this inside here, inside header.jsp. Now, anytime that they need this code inside any JSP page or HTML page, they will just say what? Import header, okay? And this, for example, now I will show you that if we go to another page here, for example, let's go here. As you can see, they still actually have the nav bar. Like they don't actually copy and paste this manually. They just say import. It depends on the the language that they are using, but there's something exists there which actually just import, and then they're gonna specify the header. This is the header is always gonna be exist in every single page, maybe like they are doing here. For example, go English proficiency, still the same header. They didn't change that, which means they are not copy pasting this. Now, if we scroll down, we have the footer. Oh my God, we have the footer. That means if I go, for example, English proficiency again, if I scroll down, oh my God, they have the same footer. Did they copy paste everything? No, they don't. They just literally add something like import footer. Okay, did you see? Like it's very convenient actually. Instead of placing this code every single page, I just place one line. And this would take me to a folder where I have this code. Remember, they're gonna just take this and play. And by the way, I can show you the HTML here. For example, for this page, I run this, I go submit, I go inspect, and here, this is for test from the footer. They just copy paste that, and the header, this is here, the header. As you can see, everything is copy paste. Okay, it's very easy. JSTL tag trick. And what I want to talk about here, let me see if still anything. This is the import. This is the, okay, this is, we don't need it, but just for reference. Okay, now this is advanced EL. I'm not sure. I'm not going to talk about this right now. Because I will just explain this in the theory, but in case like if you have any problem, you can ask me like during the lab time or the lab time or the demo time.